Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to Blast from the Past 2015 in World of Warships. And I just have to say, this is probably the biggest, best thing that Wargaming has done the entire year, with a hot second probably being the module rework that modules can no longer be permanently damaged. But here we are in Blast from the Past in domination mode, and honestly, this is essentially randoms, right? This is PvP, because we are 12 versus 12, and this iteration is tier 5 to tier 6 ships. And I just got the Warspite. It was the container that opened for me upon logging into the game, and I have pushed off buying Warspite for a long time. I started playing World Warships in 2019, and this battle, I just love Warspite. Like, it's so nice, so accurate, and we'll get into that. You'll see it in this battle. So first battle I've ever had in Warspite, and I'm divisioned up with Doom Beagle in the Kamikaze, and he's also going to have a really good game. So Blast from the Past. So Wargaming, if you haven't heard, with the new update that just dropped, they're going to have several iterations over the course of several different years, where they will be going back in time and celebrating, a decade at sea, 10 years of World of Warships. And I think going from 2015, 2017, 2019, maybe the other one was 2022. I don't remember the exact years. It's in the newest update article that I covered yesterday, which I'll put at the end of this video. And basically, they're taking it back. And like in this example, we're at tier 5, tier 6. CVs, aircraft carriers, not allowed, because back then this would have been RTS CV days, I'm pretty sure. And then also no submarines allowed, because there wasn't submarines in World Warships in 2015, right? And you only have a limited number of nations, ships that are available. The ships that would have been only available back in 2015. So what does this mean when you're playing World Warships 2015, A Blast from the Past? It means we're playing a game where there's no magical pixie dust and there's no gimmicks. Imagine playing a randoms match where you don't have any gimmicks, you don't have any magical pixie dust. We're not talking about burst fire. We're not talking about push a magical button. You get 10-20% better accuracy. You push a button and you get your cooldown on your consumables super fast. We're not talking about CVs that have insane strikes. I mean, of course, this is again tier 6. We're not talking about Dutch airstrikes that can just 20k you. Right? We're talking about a PvP game mode that just blasts in the past. How was World Warships back then? And I have to be honest with you guys, and maybe this is even the title of the video. This is one of the best random games I have in recent memory. It's the best one I've ever had for this year, certainly, as a whole, just to kick it back. Get away from all the gimmicks and bullcrap that World of Warships has been slowly introducing in the game over the years. Like, this is a fantastic game. And I say it's a fantastic game, not because of how well we're going to perform. It's how the battle goes as a whole. This is going to be a close battle. Doom Beagle himself was talking about, I think he started playing back in 2017. And back in the day, you would have matches that would go up close to the end. The matches were close, right? It wasn't just some random player pushed some magical gimmick button that means I execute, this one player because they made one bad decision, right? You would have games that would go the distance. You didn't have all this. You know how many steamroll matches we have at high tiers these days? Way more compared to when I was playing back in 2019. Crazy, right? So to talk a little bit with Warspite here, and by the way, we just landed 4 shells of 8 shells. I took aiming systems mod in the 3rd slot, even though I have a terrible turret traverse time. We're taking Commander, I think Jack Dunkirk, who has an enhanced grease the gears to help with the turret traverse time. But this is a battleship where I feel quite confident shooting destroyers in. We're going to shoot at multiple destroyers this game, and most of the time we're going to land salvos, multiple shots. Here the Fubuki is slowing down, and we land 1 there. Because we're trying to help out our destroyer players, right? Our Kamikaze there on the left of the screen is like super low. but it's just much more slower paced gameplay. I mean, of course, the gameplay at the mid tier is in low tier is a lot more slower paced than the high tier, right? And so this just ends up being really satisfying. Now, our northern flank is going to fall apart completely, but we are going to be victorious here on the southern flank eventually when the time comes. And one of the things that I see high tier players get really frustrated about mid tier is that they're used to everything happening so much faster, your battleships going 30 plus 40 knots. You know, and here the battleships are much slower. So, you know, we swing down here. I'm supporting Doom and the Kamikaze. I know it's very important to win the southern flank. I've spawned down here. And when we win this flank, it's going to take some time to reposition, right? And I think we get one player who's a little frustrated that later on that it's taking us a while to get moved further up. But that's the nature of the game. And there's also another destroyer here at play on the south end. So I'm just taking our time. We're going to be patient battleship players supporting our other teammates here. So right now you can see we're 314 versus 395. Possibly we're about to knock out the Fuso here as he's showing us a nice broadside. I think he's also he thinks there's probably torpedoes coming at him from the other enemy Kamikaze. There's torps coming from many different directions. And we're going to pick up our first kill. And Citadel is 64,000 damage. And you also see we have 5 defended ribbons. Like we are trying to defend the cap, trying to slow down the progress, but they did flip the cap as a destroyer, as I said. And we're playing around Doom here, so we're not in a rush to just go overboard. We're going to go ahead and pop our heal here, and then we're going to shoot at the New Mexico, who's sailing away because we need to get him knocked out. We've had this Nuremberg who's been farming us, right? Ooh, nice broadside. Will we get the kill here? Or Citadel? I don't know. It'd been nice to have all 8 salvos, but the New Mexico needed to go, which Fuso, our friendly Fuso, who's back actually behind me, ends up picking off here. So that's good. And then there's the Farragut. Now the Farragut doesn't have a very long torpedo range, so we're safely outside the torp range right now. So part of the play here, even if Doom and I weren't being intentional about it, was we wanted to lure them back in because the Farragut wins the gunfight against the Kamikaze much better. But if we can lure the Farragut in, and then for example, I'm ready with my 381mm guns, and Doom's ready with Kamikaze, which hits pretty decently hard, and torps, all that jazz. We'll be able to polish him off here, and that's exactly what we end up going for here. Because he's already launched his torps, I can go more full broadside, but we get the kill there. So this very nice, solid, accurate battleship. So we have the points lead now, 497, 455, but the enemy team has 3 of the 4 caps. So we're in a caps deficit right now, and so we need to get on it. So basically now, this would be the time to have an engine boost on Warspite and Fuso, so we can get further back up into the battle here and supporting our team. Because there's an enemy Kamikaze who's sneaking in behind our team, and he's going to take the Bravo cap. So this is really boiling down to very it's not stress game. I mean, it is in one sense because it's like the kills are close, the points are close, but it's a different kind of stress. It's like, I would say it's a good stress, that this is a close game, right? And I think, again, like that's why one of the reasons I really love this game mode so far is just it takes me back to when I first started playing World of Warships at the mid-tier 2019, 2020, when it just felt like you didn't have blowout matches or all these boats with gimmick buttons and CVs, with all the strikes. Like a lot of people I'll take you back to RTS days with the CVs, which I would totally be fine with that. But if you talk with the older players who've been more veterans of the game, been playing a long time, Doom would say, you would only see a CV once every week, if not once every 2 weeks, because only so many players could understand how to play the RTS CVs really well. And both teams hated when there was a CV on their team and hey, go kill our CV, basically, right? So you didn't see many CVs back in the day. I mean, at least on NA, I don't know how it would have been on EU back in the day, but this is just me going off of other people's words. So it wasn't like this common theme, right, that you had in the game. So here we are, we're trying to help our Kamikaze, who's kind of yellowing in against the enemy Kamikaze with the massive hit point difference. I think our friendly Kamikaze wants to help out the Warships, but honestly, that was a really bad decision because it's the hit point difference, and there is an Omaha that's going to be wrapping around from, what's that, the northern cap there. We're going to lob our shells here on the enemy Warspite because we're trying to get an angle. And the reason why it came this direction to begin with is that we had a friendly Warspite off to the left, and I'm trying to create more crossfire opportunity. Also, I want to be present if the enemy Omaha ends up rushing Doom in the Kamikaze. I want to have some, he's got some backing here is the goal. That's the plan. That's why we're coming out here. But the Warspite's going to get focused. It's also because, you know, you can see Omaha's laying into him there, backing behind the island coverage. Can't lob the shells right there. So we do need to get up in here and help. Also have to be mindful that there's an enemy Kamikaze at play, right? And it spits out a lot of torpedoes quite fast, as unfortunately our friendly Warspite is going through right now. So I'm trying to desperately get back into action, but you know, when you're going only 22 knots, it takes some time, right? So enemy team, it's 4v4. They have the points lead by almost 200 points. So there's stress here, but Doom is doing the right decision that he's getting around the islands here, and he's getting the caps. That's really huge for us right now. So I kind of decided to angle out here. I don't know if the Warspite is committing, and I want to be able to angle my armor. I mean, he's more interested in shooting our friendly Warspite, but nice solid damage, just kind of the bow on there. But I'm going to keep sailing out wide here because I want to be able to try to punish him again. You know, he's either got to push or he's going to have to turn broadside to me, and I'm hoping that we can line up a punishing broadside salvo here. Also, I can see the Omaha in the back. Fuso waits till he starts going broadside, which is good, and boom. Doom gets it here. So I'm going to pop the spotter plane here. And I thought that the Omaha might ground, so I pulled my shots back off to the right. Unfortunately, he still had full control, and we completely whiffed that salvo. I probably should have waited to see what exactly was going to happen there before just shooting. So that's on me. But 3 versus 3, because we've lost our Warspite in the meantime. But the points, difference is improving, as Doom is also, when he's stepping on the caps, he's slowing down their points intake, as well as, you know, then flipping the cap into our favor. So I have a concern here that the enemy Kamikaze could come back and fight Doom, or that this other Warspite might circle around the island, so we're going to use ASW charges to help us out here. So the game is still can definitely be won here, but it's going to be really close. And a big piece of the puzzle here is Doom supporting Doom in the Kamikaze if he runs into the other Kamikaze. So Warspite's going forward, so I go ahead and launch the salvo. 13k salvo. I wish I could have gotten in there. Getting some black ribbons, but not going to happen. And that's when Doom makes contact with the enemy Kamikaze and the enemy Omaha. So Doom definitely has to disengage here and smoke up. Getting a salvo loaded up here. So Fuso takes a shot at him. Great. We've still got a spotter plane. I know I can lob the island here. And so we get that just as he's going dark. Doom's still alive. Kamikaze smokes up. Omaha's taking some blind shots at Doom. And Doom has a fire ticking. We just barely missed a Kamikaze. But what's great about Kamikaze is that torpedo reload time. And what do we say about smoke screens in World of Warships? They're torpedo magnets. So let's see what happens here, because the enemy Kamikaze did have his engine busted. He might have already blown his DCP, so he might be a sitting duck here. Yep. And the armored guppy goes down. Now the enemy Warspite here is kind of going around the island. So Fuso is having to chase, so as long as Fuso doesn't show a lot of broadside, he should be okay. But killing the Kamikaze was huge. Huge here. Now I was a little bit trying to decide how should I play here. And I can't reposition very quickly, because when you commit in this low tier 6 battleship, you've committed. So I wish I critiqued to myself as I would have gone in the mid a little bit sooner. But I was trying to get salvo off on the enemy Kamikaze, and I'd see if maybe we can position on Omaha, because you know, you don't want all your battleships in one place. If you can spread them out a little bit, it helps. So a little bit of a challenge there, if you will. So now I'm trying to get around the island to support Fuso. So it's just this catch up. We don't want to play a lot with the rudder to slow us down. Maybe we can get some black ribbons because tier 5 cruisers and world warships are made of citadels, as infamously very well known in the game, especially if you're a fan of the Mighty Jingles and his video coverage of the mid tiers. So Warspite's really low, which is really great. Also has to be mindful here that the Fuso doesn't get too tempted here and decide to just go full broadside to the Warspite. I'm surprised a little bit about the torpedo range because I didn't think it'd be that close, but it runs out just as we're about to eat a torp. So that's nice that it runs out of steam. Fuso's got 2 fires ticking. So he's trying to close off the enemy Warspite here. Doom's flipping the other cap, and Fuso goes down. So basically now I need to capitalize on killing Warspite first because I can kill him before his he gets his guns reloaded, because the game's still close, right? We just reached surpassed them in points, and I'm going to shoot a little early because I know I can get him if I don't have all turrets, because he just needs to go. So with that, we've really helped secure the win here. There's not enough time in the game. You know, we have about to get the 4th cap. Now it's a question of finishing off the Omaha. Now this game was close, right? Super close. And it's like, these are the kind of games I miss in World Warships. You know, whether your team blows out the enemy team or enemy team blows out your team, you know, that's not fun, right? What's fun is having close games in World Warships, which honestly, that's what old World Warships has to offer. New World Warships rarely offers that. And I think Wargaming is going to be surprised of how well Blast in the Past ends up performing in their game. Because a lot of you who commented on the update article yesterday were really excited for this, and you seem to agree with me if I caught the drift there. So 4 kills, 131,000 damage, 3 citadels, 5 defender ribbons, only 65 target hits, but you know, hey, that's how Warspite rolls with these accurate guns. So 1 and 2 on the team. So 2,593 base XP for me, and then 2,378, if I read that correctly, for Doom and the Kamikaze. He did fantastic with the caps, fantastic with the spotting. So that just was a really good game, and shout out to the Fuso, Königsberg, and the Warspite there as well. So it took 47,000 damage, potential damage 625,000. Overall, you can see the damage spread here. You know, notice Farragut 5,600. Then also Fubuki 5,700, Grimashi 4,500. So we definitely chimed in as much as possible to shoot at the destroyers, which is really helpful also for base XP. And this is with green boosters running here on the credits and XP. So you should certainly shoot at destroyers. Warspite is a tier 6 battleship, which I have confidence that I'll at least land hopefully 1 shell, if not more, when shooting at destroyers. So that was a really nice feeling to have a battleship that's accurate, has consistent guns. So I'm glad they kept that historical accuracy for Warspite here. But let me know your thoughts on Blast in the Past if you already played it, because I am loving it. It's fantastic. I can't wait to play it more, hopefully later today. So if you liked this video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you subscribe, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Until next time, take care.